Bat music.
He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who just rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Returns, the podcast where through various mechanisms we shine a bright beacon upon Tim Burton's 1992 Batman film, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And it is I, your shining light through the darkness, your holy light, one could say, John Parker.
And once again, on this Wednesday, we are joined by YouTuber, fencer, and owner of the most faded Loki poster I've ever seen, Jessi Milestone.
Thank you for that magical introduction. Magical is truly the only word I have for that. There's going to be a new poster joining that collection back there soon, actually. I don't want to spoil it. You'll have to tune into Mindless Entertainment to see what it is. Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I should explain to people who mightn't know, like Jessi's YouTube channel has her in their usual camera setup. There's a poster in the background of Loki that is it just looks like a yellow sheet. But apparently you can make out faintly that he is there.
He is there. Yeah, he's just been, the sun murdered him. The sun killed him dead. But yes, Mindless Entertainment now has a business mailing address, so people can send me things that they think I might want. And someone is apparently sending me a fantastic poster that will be featured very soon on an episode of Mindless Entertainment.
I just really hope that you get a load of people just sending you really faded posters.
Yes.
That's it. Pre-faded only.
That's like, if it's been out in the sun for about 5 days straight, that's getting there. So, yeah.
Make it 5 weeks, man.
Correct. Yeah, you gotta go hardcore. Go big or go home.
But today we're here to talk about minute 14, which contains probably one of the most iconic moments in Batman movie history. This minute, minute 14 begins with the bat signal blazing on the sky, and ends 1 minute later with how does this minute end? Actually, I completely forgot.
Well, I just made a note that we start with a brooding bat and we end with a mobile bat.
Yeah. Yeah, because last time I watched the minutes, I watched them as a group. And I was like, how does this one end exactly? But
terrible now, terrible.
Yeah. This one, yeah. Well, specifically, this one ends with Christopher Walken running.
Oh. But yeah, we do get a little brief shot in here into some of the decor of Wayne Manor. I got seeing his whole spread, and it's like, well, note though that because we saw from that model outside, the Wayne Manor model, that, there's loads of lights on. Yet we know that Alfred is in the city, and Bruce Wayne's just hanging out at home. So it's like, what? He is, I guess, big rich guy could just leave the lights line on in all these rooms that he's not even in. Because he's not even got the light on in this room. So what the hell?
That's the best part. It's like, of all the lights that are on. And I just love this moment, because I love this moment that what we're led to understand from this moment is that pretty much all Bruce Wayne does is sit in his manor brooding until he's summoned by the bat signal. And I'd say over the past 2 movies, we have literally no evidence to suggest he ever does anything else.
No, absolutely not. He does nothing. This is his life. He's dedicated.
I guess it is quite a statement, though, on the development of the character, or lack thereof, since the last movie. Because, last we saw him was he was supposed to be hooking up with Vicky Vale. And of course we know in the Sam Hamm original draft of Batman 2, as he called it, he was still with Vicky Vale. And there's a whole big business where Bruce Wayne is up to loads of different stuff. But Burton's gone another way. Like him and Dan Waters were like, nope, this is... I think it's almost like the sheer sort of scope of his cavernous isolation is they indicating nope, that did not work at all. This is this guy now. This is all he does. He just sits in the house in the dark, waiting for. He's not got anything else going on, because just waiting to become Batman, waiting until he can become I don't want to say useful, because he could do plenty of other stuff if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's...
Yeah. Oh,
No,
yeah.
I love that
Well, it's
aspect.
that funny way where he's like, rather than, it's almost like in the Michael Keaton Batmans, rather than having this dual personality of Bruce Wayne versus Batman, it's almost like you have this shell, this tabula rasa, that's just waiting to put on this thing that gives him meaning and purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit like he's frozen in time almost, just waiting to be called upon once again when needed.
I just want to say how utterly sad it is, though, that all of the lights in the house are on except in the room that he's in. Like, that concept right there is, oh god. This is your
It
life.
is upsetting, isn't it? You want more for him, but he can't.
We do see, like, I wonder what other things he could have been doing, though, because, like, you see within the room there, he's got, like, he got a giant globe, or it could be a model Death Star, for all we know. Like, that's what I'd do with my money if I had Bruce Wayne money. It's like he could have been over playing with this Death Star Lego, maybe. Or he could have been like... I do like that, because we get a little allusion to something that'll become very prominent later, where we see the Iron Maiden that he's got.
The Iron Maiden,
And I would have liked if it was like, Bruce Wayne's actually like a hardcore Iron Maiden fan, and like, he's just like, I'm so hardcore into them, I've actually bought an Iron Maiden. So it's just like, instead of him just sitting there, it's like he's actually got headphones on, and he's just like, not a prisoner, I'm a free man. And just opens his eyes like, oh crap, the signal, oh crap, how long's that been on for?
I would love to cut, like, some montage of, like, him going into that Iron Maiden and then doing cool Batman-y things to Number of the Beast. I think that would be... If I was a talented editor, I would do that with my time.
Yeah.
Someone make it and send it to Jessi, please.
There you go. I do know some talented editors. I'll just make them do my
That's a
bidding.
nice plug for Jessi's YouTube channel there. If she was a talented editor, maybe... Oh, but by the way, tune in to her YouTube channel.
Check it out. There you will see no edits in almost all of my videos, and that's true. And that's not because I can't. Look, I can cut enough, but I think that single takes just express me better as I am.
Yeah, I like that approach.
There's certain concern watching some of your videos, because you seem to get so sort of like into what you're talking about. There's like, I think she's going to collapse. This is the one where you're just going to see like like a vein pop in her head, and that's it. That's the end.
People have that concern. That's one of the reasons they continue to watch, I think, is to make sure I'm still alive. Certainly it's helped with my parents. Like, my mom doesn't text me as frequently anymore, and I realize it's because she now has evidence every single day that I still live. So, she can sit on the other side of the country and not worry that her adult grown daughter, who's been living on her own for many years, is alive. Because the magic of the internet, people. The magic of the internet.
Thank God we don't have to actually inform our families. They can just have a quick look. Oh, they're doing okay, fine.
Exactly.
I'm sure Bruce would like that if he had a family.
That's a low blow, John. Jeez.
Great segue there.
Oh.
Nice.
That was a bit harsh.
Should actually, a lot of people probably would have assumed this, but like, we should bring up that this shot of him sitting brooding in the chair with like hand to mouth and whatnot would seem to be a direct reference to Detective Comics 33 from 1939.
Of course.
Which is, of course, the famous shot of Bruce Wayne in his smoking jacket, sitting, talking about, like, what am I going to do? Like, what? And then he sees the bat out the window, and he's like, yes, I will become a bat, and all this business. And, of course, that was actually alluded to, as you might recall, John, in the last movie. When he was having the flashback to his parents' death, he did the same kind of pose. So it could be that, like, once again, they could be alluding to the idea that he's so... I don't want to say stagnant, because that sounds very negative when we're supposed to be talking about Batman, the great hero. But like, he's so stuck in this rut, like, emotionally, that he couldn't make things work with Vicky. So all he does now is he's still sitting, probably still thinking about his parents' death. He could be still like, in his head, he could be having like the like that music playing and stuff. And then like, he's still hung up on it, and like, he's just in this kind of cavernous, dark pit of his soul. That he, like, the only thing that can shine a light on it is the bat signal.
Yeah, I think he's been fighting crime in between the movies, but obviously it's just going to be low level crooks. That he doesn't care anymore. Like, he needs someone to come along that's going to revive him, so to speak. Well,
that was the beautiful plot of the Lego Batman movie, of course, was that, did you guys see the Lego Batman
Oh,
movie?
I've deliberately not watched it because we will cover it on the show, but I know the plot.
But that's, I mean, that was actually like, and it's that plot point works so beautifully with this particular Batman too, which is that he does need the Joker he needs a worthy opponent in order to fulfill him. And yeah, it's funny that of all the movies that would cover that concept, it was the Lego one.
And it was so bizarre in the year that came out. Like, that was what, was it early last year, like 2017, or it wasn't 2016? Couldn't have been. It must have been 2017. But like, yeah, you know, because you're coming off like, oh yeah, you had that like disastrous Killing Joke adaptation, and then you know you had Suicide Squad and stuff, and then it was like the two really silly Batman movies that came out then, because you had the Adam West Return of the Caped Crusaders, and it's like, oh, this is great. And then the Lego Batman movie was just like, this movie gets Batman. Like, they understand the character rather than like every other version I've seen recently, like the Dawn of Justice and stuff. It's like, who the hell is this guy? But like the Lego movies, like they understand the relationship between. They're doing it in a very overt comical fashion, but they literally have scenes kind of echoing this, where he's like in his giant pool eating his lobster just by himself, and it's just, you just get this real feeling of loneliness, which is pretty much what they're trying to establish here as well.
That's how we live our lives between seasons. Basically, just eating lobster. Just sat around
until we're like asked to guest on another podcast, and we have to have different signals pop up. It's like, oh, the Spider-Man guys need somebody. The Spider-Man symbol comes through the window. Like, oh my god.
Speaking of this signal, right? I'm not sure I fully understand how this bat signal mechanism's working, right? So the police shine the light, and then Bruce has multiple other sort of lights that shine through all of his windows in order to alert him wherever he is.
Well, because he's so deep in thought that he's not looking out the window.
I mean, it does resolve that issue that people have always said, well, surely Batman would have to be looking out the window all the time. It's like, okay, yeah, but it's very elaborate.
And also, like, really conspicuous.
Yes.
You know, I get that Wayne Manor is removed from the road, and etc., but I feel like someone was going to notice that at some point.
Yeah, they're shining it right over the house.
It's huge, and ridiculously bright, and unencumbered by the normal laws of light. Apparently,
that's why they didn't have a gardener. It's like he'd noticed those things, like in a heartbeat. He'd look up and like, is that the bat symbol and a bunch of different things? What's that there for? I was like, well, you come with me into the kitchen, sir. And then that gardener never comes out again.
It's so odd. I don't understand. I just had to roll with it. Yeah. I just had to go, okay, fine, whatever.
And there's the thing too, like when we recorded the last week's show, like our guest then, Polly, like she hadn't seen the film in years, but as she was watching it, she texted me going like, "Do people know that Bruce Wayne's Batman?" And I was like, "No, it's only him and Alfred know." And she's like, "Why's he got all these things around his house shining the bat symbol in the friggin' window?" It's like, no, don't know. I'll give Dan Waters one thing in that this is a kind of a retool thing of the actual mechanism with the bat symbol on it itself. In the original script, it's supposed to be like a series of mirrors, so it's just reflecting the light, whereas this seems to be, it's like the sensors are setting off a specific mini bat signal. I don't know if it goes into every room in the house. I think it might be that like this is his bat signal room, and he goes and sits there, and it shines into this particular room or something, but...
Interesting. But that's, I mean, when you think about, so the last movie, when we meet Bruce Wayne, he's having a gigantic party at his house.
Yeah.
What happens if those go off?
If he's having another party.
Like, if he's having a party, yeah, like that's hella awkward.
That's an excellent point.
For everyone.
I mean, the only thing I can think is he's become even more of a recluse.
So he's like, screw it, no more parties. I'm going to sacrifice ever having a party ever again.
Yeah.
For the sake of having gigantic bat floodlights on my house.
I'm sure there's easier ways.
This seems like a reasonable trade-off.
Couldn't he have just had like a bell at the police station that they press the button and it rings, you know, in...
Or even if you like the style of the bat signal, maybe when you turn on the bat signal, it also like sends a phone call to a special phone in Batman's house.
It's much like a red phone that he keeps under a little glass thing that he's...
Exactly.
But,
screw you, Adam West.
But there is like a direct contradiction too, because Michael Keaton has said in interviews, like in his attempt to replaying this character, one of the notes he had is like, oh no, he's more sociable this time. Like, and that's the only hint of that you
No,
get.
he's
is
not.
The only indication is like that meeting. I think he says something along the lines of like, oh, he's more invested in what's happening in the city, so he's actually out doing stuff. Whereas in the first movie, beyond having people up to his house and stuff, where they didn't even know who he was, like he never like he's more involved in cities going on. And you do get one scene of him talking to Max Schreck. Like, he goes out and has a meeting with him. But then this scene directly contradicts all of that. But I'm like, well, he's not down at the Christmas tree lighting where you think, like, if he's getting more involved in city affairs, that's a thing he'd want to go to.
Yeah.
And then this, even that idea, too, is like, the only way this mechanism work, unless it's just like, no one can ever go into this one particular room, and then just fingers crossed no one notices if I'm having a party, all the lights shining around the building into this room.
Right.
But like if someone goes out for a smoke, they're just like, what the hell is that?
Exactly.
Tell you what, though, I know, because he's on his own, he feels safe and secure doing this. The dramatic turn when he notices the light is perfection. I live for this.
Oh, this is like, I think that it's definitely the most iconic shot of like Keaton's Batman for sure.
Yes.
And it's almost kind of like one of the most iconic shots of like any Batman movie. Because if you think Batman in cinema, usually kind of my mind would go to like, oh, Michael Keaton standing up into the light of the signal. It's so well composed and stuff. And we do get, of course, then a great the beyond the opening credits. Obviously, we get the return of the Batman theme and stuff. And I do really love particularly if you listen to it with your headphones on and stuff, because you get the nice bit of organ beforehand, and then the sort of slow build into the sort of transcendence.
An organ grinder.
But yeah, they really build up
slowly gradually.
They really build up into like again, which is always I've been on record about how much I love that that they do in that Batman thing.
Okay, yeah, I'm on board.
The yeah. I'm into it. Speaking of the organ grinder, though.
Oh, yes.
That's immediately. We can continue fanboying over the bat signal. I'm going to be the last person to ever cut off a solid fanboy sesh. But
no, I'm more than happy to mention the organ grinder is back with the crooks, and he demands the guy who runs the show, but he does not mean the mayor.
Yeah. One thing I will note though, just before getting the organ grinder bit, is that there is a shot of the signal from which I always thought was supposed to be through Bruce's window, and I've only realized in recent years that this is from the sewer. It's the
penguin looking up.
It's the penguin.
The sewer shot is the penguin seeing it. Yeah. Oh yes, that's a nice moment.
But the thing is, once again, there's actually some deleted dialogue from the original Daniel Waters script, and
oh yeah, true.
Well, it's because we have him because Daniel Waters, as we discovered like last week, and we'll keep noting throughout the rest of the show, his original version of the Penguin. No, because you'll see the problem even throughout this episode. Because even here, like he sees the signal, and then he says, "Well, it's about time. Ooh, I'm so scared. Come on, Batman, you poster boy sellout. I'm the real thing, and you're just a Jim." And I'm assuming that's a typo because it does say you're just a Jim, GYM. It's like, what was there supposed to be like Jim obsessed?
A Jim head.
Jim Rat.
Yeah, but he's not in these movies. He's not
not at all.
Oh, what could that mean?
No, this is a gime. He is going for the Homer Simpson. Oh, what's a gime? He's Batman's a gime. He's a total gime.
That's really what Homer was saying all along.
Secretly brilliant.
I like the way the organ grinder though here. He wants the guy who runs the show. You think, oh well, it's the mayor. No, it's not the mayor. It's Max Schreck, which I felt was a nice little comment about capitalism. Really, the capitalist is running the show.
Oh yeah,
of course. Then we get like a little because the mayor does step forward there. Mayor Roscoe Jenkins, played of course by Mike Murphy. I know you're thinking, Jesse, like, oh, Mike Murphy, the host of Winning Streak, the second most popular, longest running game show in all of Europe. That Mike Murphy. No, it's a different Mike Murphy, completely different guy altogether.
Of course, everyone's thinking that.
Thanks for backing that up.
Yeah, but he does get a very quick. I do love the sheer way he's dismissed of like one of the goons just like probably smacking him with a gun. That's a real like, not you, like a real disgusted like, what are you talking? No. But yeah, so the Mike Murphy there is smacked out of the way.
It's a beautiful smack.
Once again, because we noted that Chip Schreck, he came in to the office with that cane, And then Max Shrek was carrying the cane. And it seems now he's passed the cane back to his son. As if, like, once I'm not on.
I found a sword. Guys, I found a sword.
Oh, yeah, actually, there are swords coming.
Oh.
Yeah, someone is, in addition to several guns, someone is pointing a sword at Chip Shrek's face.
Oh, that is actually notable. Before all the weapons are drawn, we do get to see a character we'll be talking about later in the movie when he actually has his own kind of little moment. The sword swallower. Mm-hmm. And he looks like a real dork here because he's just standing with the sword in his mouth. And it's like, he has to kind of bend down a bit because obviously... Yeah, it's just really, it's like what use are you in this fight? Like, unless the sword is in your hand, you're doing nothing.
Well, that's where he keeps it. He doesn't put it in a holster. He just keeps it in his face and then pulls it out when he needs to, threaten someone.
That's amazing. That'd be such a good video game character. Oh my god! I had a question about these swords though, so it's perfect you're on actually. Are these like real swords, so to speak, or are they like circusy swords? They look like those fake collapsible swords or something, but they might not be.
Yeah, they really kind of look like they don't look like fake per se, but they look like, I mean, because this one in particular, it has the hilt of a rapier or something to that effect. It almost has like the cross guard of a rapier, the hilt of like a bastard sword, and then the blade of a dagger. Yeah. So it's kind of like something that was probably designed to look cool, but also not be that super heavy and take up that much space in your house.
I'm already flashing forward to the conversation we're going to have in editing of like, do we have to edit the term bastard sword? Is that okay? 'Cause I guess if that's what it's called, then that's what it's going to have to be.
Yeah. No, but I think these swords look like the kinds that are designed so that you can be a person who has a cool-looking sword in your house that's not at all functional.
Yeah, aesthetics are not only for the movie, but for the gang themselves. I think aesthetics are important.
Very much so, yeah.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, because the sword swallower, that's basically just a large dagger. Really. Just a really big dagger.
Well, it's not a broadsword. That would be intriguing.
But I do love this little interchange of dialogue here. Because, Chip Shrek actually, to be fair to him, stepping up. Like, he actually is doing the right thing here, even though he's supposed to, like, everywhere else he comes off like a bit of a prick. But, it's to be, you're going to have to go through me. Well, and then they all draw the weapons. You see the guy has, I like the fact that he's got like an Uzi or something, like a machine gun. But he's actually got, like, the magazine painted in, like, circus colors and stuff.
It's exactly like the way people customize their weapons in like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Even though it does not fit Call of Duty.
I had no idea. Does anyone else feel like, and I can't pronounce this last name, Andrew Bryniarski?
I think settled on.
That's what we went with.
Yeah.
But does anyone feel like he's doing a Christopher Walken impression when he talks?
Oh, totally. Like 100%.
Because that's like 100%. To me, it just feels like he's doing his best Christopher Walken. And it's not that great. But my favorite is just right at the end of this little bit here when he repeats, "Dad, go."
Go.
It's just like,
I like to believe that
good.
the character is putting the voice on because he wants to be close to his dad because his dad's this rich businessman. He hasn't got time for his kid, maybe. So to bond with him, he's like, I'm going to do his voice.
I love this backstory so much. Yes, this is his. Because I could have bought into it as just being like, well, he's his son, so they'll kind of sound alike. I like that even more. Of like, no, he's doing this on purpose to try to be daddy.
Yeah,
because if there was like the spin-off movie that nobody wants about Chip and his relationship with Max, like that's what the narrative would be about.
Oh, that'd be so good. Which
maybe should be made, and then maybe that's how Chip becomes the next great villain. I'm just gonna write a fangirl Batman story and see if
yes,
anyone wants to make it. So fun thing, when I looked at this actor, I immediately, because his IMDb picture looks nothing like he looks in the movie, not even a smidge.
No.
But from the IMDb picture, I also immediately recognized him as Crow from the second episode of Firefly.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, God, yeah. I remember reading that, and I couldn't wrap my head around it at all. I was confused.
The second I saw the picture, I was like, oh, I see you have met Crow. He likes to sit at the door to say boo. Like, immediately went there right away from that picture. But looking at him here, I'm like, how did you become that man? Did you just go to prison for a long time?
We talked about it before, but if you listen to like interviews with him now, he sounds as if he's like since 1992, all he's done is smoke like 50 cigars a day because he's just got this real kind of voice. And it's like I wouldn't be surprised. We should look into it to see like maybe he's even dubbed here because he does not sound like this normally. So, although to be fair, one of the other most notable parts he plays, I don't think we brought this up yet, is that he's also Zangief in the Street Fighter movie, or as I believe John you pointed out to me a few weeks back, apparently it's not Zangief this whole time. It's Zangief.
Yeah. Everyone I know has said Zangief. Zangief.
Yeah,
which I should have known, loving Russian things, except treatment of LGBTQ people. Other than that, I like Russian
or
things.
like humans in general.
Yes.
But I do remember though I'm not going to be able to say Zangief though. This is really like I don't know whether to go hardcore where like I refuse to say GIF instead of GIF, or I should be like, all right, I guess if they say it's Zangief, I should call him that. But because Zangief like in that movie, beyond like Raul Julia's fantastic M. Bison, he is one of the highlights of the movie too. He has like one of the best lines where like there's that bit where like Chun-Li is talking about like she's got like a truck full of explosives that was about to drive into Bison's tent, and she's kind of bragging over the TV to them that this is happening, and everyone starts panicking. Yeah. And then Zangief's just like, "Quick, change the channel!" And it's like, that's funny. That's a funny line. And he has that weird thing where he keeps trying to give a thumbs up, but he gives it to the side, and at the end, when he turns good guy, like Guile points it up, and then he's just like, like he has a real like, oh, I understand now that this is.
It's like Terminator. I know now why you cry.
I do have to ask though, because like people who know about Russian stuff is like, because you know, obviously recently we had the second season of Glow came out there, and that's got Alison Brie's character, her character's character within the show, the wrestling persona, is like is a Russian sort of ice queen and stuff. And she comes out, she's literally got like the best costume out of everyone else in the show, which I feel is a bit of favoritism to Alison Brie because she obviously is the name star. But she also has a big like mohawk. And it's like, that's gotta be a Street Fighter reference, right? Or are mohawks a big thing in Russia? And that's where they had it for Street Fighter? Or is it all just like, no, this is deliberately calling to Street Fighter as a reference?
It must be a reference. Mohawks weren't ever really much of a thing.
I don't think they were a thing anywhere.
I mean, I guess a little bit later than you would have had them here. Because, I mean, here, obviously, it was kind of the second wave of punk sort of adopted that look. Russia, it would have been a lot later that it became a thing.
Yeah.
It's not really associated with them.
Yeah. This could be a question for Jessi Milestone's hair, the Twitter account that we could like.
Maybe my hair knows. That is a good
But like,
question.
you know, we asked that question, and then when like, Jessie's asleep, her hair comes to life and just kind of grabs her phone and starts like tapping on the screen and stuff to replies. I was like, oh my god, sentient! It's like that again. It's like that Simpsons with Snake's hair when it's like takes over Homer's body.
Now I'm feeling like I should set up a camera on myself at night and find out what my hair does when I go to bed.
It tweets, apparently.
That would be a good Paranormal Activity spoof of just like, oh, it turned out it was the hair the whole time. It was doing everything.
Evil hair, like Homer's transplant.
Although, like, you know, your hair's quite short, Jessie, so I guess like wouldn't have much reach. So I guess it'd just be kind of like, yeah, I can't do much. Pretty much
Considerably more than we've got.
Oh yeah, sadly, tragically so.
That would be a great moment. Is like the half of the movie is just nights when I'm not close enough to my phone for my hair to reach, and it just can't do anything, and just tries and fails, and then like every few nights, I put the phone a little closer to my head, and it can get on and cause trouble.
Well, here to stop trouble, we get one last bit here, because Shrek runs away. But then we are greeted by the sight of the Batmobile. Yeah. It's back in action.
The movie's finally kicking in. This is like we're getting to the actual returns of Batman Returns. It's happening. It's actually going to happen.
He's returning.
He's almost there.
It's so close. I can taste it.
Oh, yeah.
I also, so you do get a nice few seconds, though, of Max Shrek just really doing a lot more effort than he needs to be expending, I think, to be avoiding people. He's doing a lot of ducking, and I don't see anything flying at or near his head. But I will say that if the entire point was for this gang to come out and grab him, it appears that not a whole lot of the gang actually knows what he looks like.
Yeah, that's a good point. No photos were distributed.
Right? Like, obviously, the organ grinders, some of the people in charge, some of the big guys are like, we're here for Max Shrek, and this is Max Shrek. And the rest of them are like, we're here to just make a mess. We're here to just F some S up, and, you know.
I do have to, I will say as well, like, if their whole thing is to get Max Shrek, and even there, the organ grinder, they had him. And he's even pointing at him, going, Shrek. The fact then that, like, Chip steps up to defend him and, Dad, go, save yourself. There's so much space around him. Chris Walken just running off to the side. There's like 5 guys there. One of them, just the guy with the gun, just keep an eye on Chip. The rest of them just nip around and get him. Like, he's right there. Like, there's not as if there's, like, walls blocking him off or anything. It's like, he's right there. Just go. He's getting away. He's running away right now. What are you doing? And plus, how is Chip? Maybe Chip secretly is, like, Zangief. Like, he actually is, like, mercilessly beating the crap out of these guys right now. And it's off camera.
Just off camera.
It's like, it turns out, like, but Chip he's better than Batman. Like, he doesn't even need the car. Like, he just comes in, takes all these guys out single-handedly.
Yeah, he's my hero.
They just took all the best parts of this movie and kept them off camera.
But as Max is running there as well, just inexplicably without any goons following him, we do get a nice shot there of, I think it was mentioned briefly last week, but the statue that looks like it's taking a piss. It's like bare-ass, urinating statue. It's just, there it is.
Either that or trying really hard not to pee. That could be that. It's
like too many people around now. It's like, I can't do it if people are watching.
Too many people. I get nervous.
But then, we got a brief cut down to the sewer, and we get to see a mysterious figure. Who could it be walking across with the umbrella? Presumably because there's like loads of like sewer gunk dripping on his head every day. So gotta have the umbrella out, I guess.
Keep that, those beautiful, shining, full locks clean.
Like that's some hair if it turned evil that could do some stuff. Like he's got reach.
Oh yeah, that hair could make chaos.
But should ask again, because we do see now where Max is running off here, and we're talking about again differences in like the original script is that like all this wasn't supposed to happen in, or at least with Shrek, it wasn't supposed to happen on the street. He's up in his office still. There's stuff going on in the street, but the people have to go up to actually get him. It's very kind of RoboCop-esque, actually. Like there's like when the guy's holding the mayor hostage and stuff. But it has, and even in that, like Chips kind of comes across a lot worse because he has a line where like there's chaos going on outside, and he says like, "Gentlemen, don't be afraid." And then he cockily strides toward the noises when the doors slap open, crunching him out cold. Ringmaster and company scramble into the room. Neon Necklace is holding Selena. There's a character called Neon Necklace. And then Max Shrek says, "Gentlemen, let's be afraid." And it's like, because it's confident. Yeah, I get that. And it's like, and he's just like, he just looks at Chip's unconscious body and he's like, somebody's not getting his Christmas bonus. And it's a bit like, also Chips is like a useless boob. He is the great white dope in this one.
Yeah. At least in this that we're seeing, he's trying.
He's putting forth.
There is a
effort.
bit. There is a kind of weird redemptive quality to like Chip Shrek again, supposed to be a real git, but he's stepping up. He's saving his dad, and then later on in the movie, Max Shrek also steps up to save Chip. So it's like there's they're not as black and white as in their villainy as they could have been. So
they have some humanity. They have some purpose, and then it's I think another comment because so much of this movie, I mean, there's the undercurrent of family in this movie very much, and it's interesting that like one of the more evil people in this movie is one of the only ones who gets a family, and to have that be sort of like his one redeeming quality is that he does love and care about his son. Sort of interesting.
But yeah, we've got another brief shot of the Batmobile here. So a lot of people still have to ask Jessi because again you were saddled with credits minutes in the on your last go around in the show. But like, what's your favorite Batmobile? Like out of all the cinematic Batmobiles we have, like which one would you say is the tip top? Because this usually it's this and the '60s one that always seem to come out on top.
Yeah. I think this one. I think this is the one I had the model of as a kid. I think it's this one. I do, and you know me, I'm like a fanatic for anything Batman Forever. There are cool parts to that one. Like, that one's a cool looking car as well, too. It's just like, it's got some pizzazz. But I think this is my Batmobile.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, that's what we want to hear.
I do hardcore defend that Batman Forever mobile. I thought that was awesome. But, like, I know, and I've said it on the show a few times. And I've usually been met with, what? Like, people who are really...
No, that is a great Batmobile.
But again, that's a whole other movie, so I guess we'll have to... we'll be getting to that in due time. So, then that's pretty much the end of the minute, isn't it?
That's the end of the minute. Yeah. So, well, before we depart once more, would you like to tell our listeners where they can find you and your work once again?
Absolutely. You can find me on YouTube at Mindless Entertainment. You can find me on Instagram at Mindless Entertainment. You can follow me on Twitter at Jessi Milestone. And, of course, my hair, which is an account I have no association with, but it's Jessi Milestone's hair. So I encourage you to follow that one,
no
too.
association that you know of yet. Like
that I yet know of, yes. My hair could be doing this all in my sleep.
It's like growing in strength. Like, every time you get a haircut, all of a sudden the next morning, it's, like, even longer. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Oh my god.
What is this madness?
Well, join us again on Friday because we will be back. In the meantime, if you want to chat to us, we're on Facebook. We're at the Bat Minute Listeners Cave. Or send us a tweet at Bat Minute because we always love a good chat. Or, give us a rate, a review, and a subscription on iTunes. That's very nice and helpful and lovely and kind and sweet. So do that and join us again on Friday where we'll be back with Minute 15 of Batman Returns. Next time, toasted toys. While an incendiary evildoer sets innocents alight, a returning crusader rides through the night. But can a bat that is mobile fell felons that are vile with some well-fired projectiles? Find out Friday, same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute.